TRAKA is not just a key management system. TRAKA is total access management. You can use TRAKA to access a whole range of assets, facilities, equipment and buildings. Hello, my name is John Kent. I'm the Managing Director of TRAKA. TRAKA is a British company and has a product that was designed in the early 1990s.
Good afternoon, TRAKA.
And it's now sold throughout the world into a huge range of different applications. The heart of our product is this device here. We call it the iFob. The iFob is a nickel-plated brass tube which contains a chip with a guaranteed unique identity. So that means every iFob is different. Normally the iFob is attached to the keys using a security seal so that the two can't be separated. The iFob is then held inside our cabinet and it's locked in position. There's a little groove at the end of the iFob and a solenoid engages in that and locks it in place. To take out an iFob, we have to identify ourselves at the cabinet, which we can do by typing in a pin, swiping a card, any type of card reader, or in my case here I have a little biometrics reader which reads my finger. So to gain access to the TRAKA, we'll identify ourselves, the door will pop open, and you'll notice here that we have a clear polycarbonate door, but you can, if you wish, have a solid metal door. But the system will only release the key if I'm allowed that key. So let me show you how TRAKA works. So I come along, I identify myself with, in this case, my PIN number, and I then use my finger to verify this. And if correct, the door will open. I then choose a key, so I press the button next to it. However, I'm not allowed to take this particular key. I'm not authorized to take it. Therefore, I select a key that I am allowed to take, for example, key number 19. And if I'm allowed that key, I withdraw it. That's now my key, and I'm responsible for that key, and I'm responsible for the assets that that key controls. Access to these keys is controlled with our TRAKA 32 software. This very easy to use management software is used to configure the system to determine who can take out which key at which particular time. This software is also used to hold all the information about all the activity since the system was used. When I finish with the key, I must return it. So I come along and identify myself again using my PIN number, verifying it with my finger. If I'm okay, the door pops open. The system actually shows me which key that I've got. But if I'm in a rush and I try and put the key in the wrong place, the system alarms and tells me that I put it in 20 and I should have put it in number 19. So I remove it from 20, put it in 19, the system goes beep, and the system now accepted back the key, which means I'm no longer responsible for the key or the assets. Keys can also be configured with a curfew.
Certain areas, sensitive areas like our comms room, our external comms room, which is very essential to us on match days, we curfew the key to that to only 1 hour at a time. So we can then ensure that the key is back prior to any event taking place.
So for example, if I take key number 10, the system reminds me that it's due back by a particular time. That time is all configured using TRAKA 32. If the key is late being returned, an alarm will sound both on the cabinet and our support software to remind the administrator that this key is overdue and should have been returned by a certain time.
If you do use a car and you go to it and find there's a dent in the wing, but it was actually like that when you went to it, the system will show who's used it before you.
Fault logging allows us to record problems that we may have experienced while we're using the asset or the equipment. So for example, if we were replacing the key having used the vehicle, we can log a problem that we may have experienced while using that particular vehicle. So in my case, I'm going to replace key number 5. So I open the door in the normal way, verify my ID with my finger, the door pops open, and I insert the iFob. Now I have a problem with the tyres. I can see it's fault code number 2, so I type in number 2. Store that away and close the door. How did I know it was fault code number 2? Next to the TRAKA cabinet there's a list that the manager has prepared beforehand which shows all the typical faults that I'm likely to have experienced while using this particular vehicle. And of course this isn't just for vehicles, this could be for any type of equipment or asset that we wish to manage and report problems that we've experienced when we're using. The information isn't just logged in the TRAKA cabinet. The TRAKA cabinet sends that information to the TRAKA32 database, which allows the maintenance department to see instantly that this particular key was reported as having a particular fault at a particular time, therefore allowing remedial action to be taken efficiently and promptly, and therefore bring the asset back into operation as quickly as possible.